through and through. I spent no fewer than 600 glorious days in what is now known as Chadwick Boseman College of Fine Arts. We built sets, we struck sets, we learned how to light a stage, how to set a scene, and honoring my craft as an actor is honoring my craft as an actor, but through the loving guidance of these incredible professors here. Some are still with us, and some have passed on. May you all rest in peace. I danced the go-go music on the corner of Georgia Avenue. Back when that store sold cassettes and pages. Do y'all even know what that is? Anyway, we didn't have Sankofa or half-smoked it, but I ate my fair share of meals from the Florida Avenue Grill, Ho Chi, Howard China, Ben's Chili Bowl before there was a Ben's next door, right? In fact, before I catch my flight, I might go by there and pick some up and see my mural. I've studied in Founders, I've socialized in UGL, I've walked the hill up to the yard more times than I can count, and I've danced with the Qs, all the Greeks that I care to remember. I hear you. And no matter how, and I cried, oh Lord knows I cried. Tracy Will, my best friend since the 7th grade. If y'all sing Peace of Mind, that's how I introduced her now, she's here. Well, we cried, didn't we? We cried a lot. And we cried tears of joy. We laughed. Oh God, did we have so much fun backstage at Ira Aldridge. Yes. And no matter how many stumbling blocks were thrown in my way, I was too grounded in who I am and in whose I am to ever be knocked off my path. Now see, what Howard University instilled in me, Hollywood could never take away. So my sisters and brothers, on behalf of Howard alum everywhere in the world, congratulations to the graduating class of 2022. Ain't you?
You know.
We sound good. I also want to give it up to the COVID protocol. I hope you are as excited about joining the Nation of Bison alumni as we are to welcome you. And I hope that you see within yourselves what we see, that you are brilliant as well as beautiful. That what makes you different is also what makes you extraordinary. That you are not just our future, you are our present too. And that you are ready. Because you are all those things and more. So this is not a time for anxiety or apprehension. Okay? Transition is scary, I know. I get it. I grew up just a few miles from here, Southeast DC. Yeah, Southeast. And yet, I arrived on Howard's campus for the first time after detours, North Carolina A&T University. Trying to be an electrical engineer, you'll have to read about that epic fail in my book. Anyway, when I got to Howard, I was nervous. I was frightened even. And when I sat where you're sitting now, after years of exceptional training from artists like Michael Malone, Al Freeman Jr., Frank Dorn, Vera Katz, give it up. I didn't have an agent or an acting gig lined up. I took off my cap and gown and went to work as a crew manager on a dinner cruise ship for Odyssey. But thank God, my father, Boris Lawrence Henson, pushed me to put my dreams front and center. Yes. I want to encourage all the parents here, whether you gave birth to these baby geniuses or you're their parent in love, listen to me. The major written on their degree is not the most important thing. The most important thing written on their degree is their name. They came to Howard with a mission, and they completed the mission.
Yes.
You know why? Because they understood the assignment.
Yes.
So if they come to you and say, I don't think I want to go to medical school anymore, say, you know, I can't stop thinking about that music fellowship. Whatever it is, please support them in chasing their dreams. You were the expert in guiding and nurturing them to reach this milestone. Trust they are the experts in their own hearts. Bet on them the way my mother and father and my family and my circle of friends and loved ones did on me. You see, take it from me, the bet just might pay off. You see, I don't know if many of you know my story, but I moved to Hollywood with my toddler on my hip with $700 to my name. So can we say the bet paid off? The name my dad chose for me, Taraji, means hope in Swahili. Hope has always been the center of my life. And like you, I have been blessed with a circle of people who have cared for and covered me, who have prayed for me, who have helped me hold on to hope when I couldn't hold on to anything else. People like my mom, Bernice Gordon, my stepmom, Angie Henson, my sister, April, my brother, Sean, my son, my entire circle of beautiful family and friends, too many to name. We deep. But so many others with whom I would not be standing here today. So if you'll journey with me for just a little while, I want to share some of the wisdom I learned from my circle, from my life, and from the Bison Nation. There are few choices in life that have the power to affect everything else. Choices that don't just influence what we do or what we experience. They also determine who we are. They determine if and how we find our true purpose, and they will decide if and how we build and leave a legacy. I want to focus our time together on 3 of these choices. The first is choosing to put your faith over fear. Mm-hmm. Got that? Lock it in, keep it, we're going to get back to it. The second is choosing to rise in hope rather than sink in cynicism. And the third is choosing to love instead of hate. So we got this: faith over fear, hope over cynicism, love over hate. Let's start with faith, my favorite. Scripture teaches us that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of grace. Did you know that all matter we can observe makes up less than 5% of the universe? Everything we see through our microscopes and all of our telescopes, all of our spectroscopes, all of our magnetometers, what is, how to say the word, what is scientists? Magnetometers. All of it, you get it, all of it is just 5% of what's out there. More than 80% of the universe is made of material that is completely invisible. It emits no light, no energy, and our conventional sensors can't even detect it all. But we know it must be there because without it, without this so-called dark matter, none of the behavior of the stars, the planets, or the galaxies would make any scientific sense. Right. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you came to Howard, whether you were anxious, will I make new friends, will I like the campus, or downright should I even be going to school at all? You knew that a force you couldn't see had you. You knew that if you took that one step, something would support you in taking the next and the next, right? That's faith. Maybe it was your faith in a higher power. Maybe it was faith in your parents or grandparents or what they taught you and what their example represents. Maybe it was faith in yourself. Maybe it was a combination, but whatever it was, that was faith. You took a step because you believed if you did your part, then the universe in all its mystery and dark matter majesty would do its part. Faith is taking the first step, Dr. King said, even when you don't see the whole staircase. And taking that step doesn't mean you're not afraid, you're human. Of course you're going to be afraid. It just means that your faith is bigger than that fear. Because fear is just there to distract you. That's all it is. That is its only purpose. Fear makes you waste time wondering if you're worthy. Fear makes you spin your wheels wondering if you belong. It turns your attention away while faith is waving and shouting, trying to remind you of what Dr. Maya Angelou taught, which is you alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody. How many of you have heard the saying, prayer is not about changing God, prayer is about changing us? Well, I got excited. Technology. Let me get back to it. This is important what I'm saying. Okay, I knew this would happen. Somebody told me to use paper. I lost where I was. Wait, there we go. Let me catch it. Okay, we got it. I'm there. Okay. This is a reminder that our faith is not static. It's not something that we learn as children and then enclose in a break-in-case of emergencies box and put on the shelf. Faith is whatever it means to you. Faith, whatever it means to you, is an active, moving, powerful force. If we nurture it, if we take it out of the background and put it into the center stage of our lives, then it can transform us from the inside out. That's something else that choosing faith over fear has taught me. You see, faith and fear can't coexist, and you got to pick a side. I realized that faith was not just about recognizing what God is doing in my life. Nurturing an active faith is also about the work I am doing to repair what has been wounded and heal what's been broken in myself. So you got to do the work. Just like you, I'm equal parts miracle and a work in progress. When I embrace that second part of my human equation, that my work will always be ongoing, always be in progress, it released me from beating myself up for not reaching an impossible goal. I created the Boris L. Henson Foundation because I've made it my mission to help start a new conversation about how we care about ourselves and how we live in community with one another. For too long, we have remained silent about our pain, silent about our struggles, silent about our disappointments. But you see, silence is not strength. Howard's own Zora Neale Hurston taught us, if you are silent about your pain, they will kill you and say you enjoyed it. We have to end the stigma around saying I need help, or I can't handle this load alone, because the cost of silence is just too high. A 2018 study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association Pediatrics found that Black children between the ages of 5 and 12 are about 2 times more likely to die by suicide than white children of the same age. Howard, I don't know about you, but that broke my heart when I first heard that statistic. Our babies are taking their own lives when they should be concerned about playing outside. But if the adults around them are silent about our pain, our struggles, if we refuse to bear witness to our own wounds so that those scars might become a roadmap for our youth, then they will be left to fight their battles alone, or even worse, seek support from people and places that mean them only harm. One of my foundation's core programs offers free mental health wellness support to African American individuals and families. Yeah, we're getting our people into therapy with licensed, culturally competent clinicians. And my message is more than there's nothing wrong with seeking professional help. My message is that there is everything right with seeking help for our mental and emotional health. Don't we deserve some joy, Howard? And if we deserve joy, if we have a birthright to joy, then shouldn't we do everything we can to not only cultivate joy in our own lives, but to share that joy with those we love as well. Prayer is powerful. Prayer changes things. I'm a witness and a living testimony. You want to know something else that is powerful and changes things? Talking. Sharing your story. Asking for help. Being an active participant in your own healing.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Don't you get tired of being strong all the time?
Yeah.
They each have tremendous power to change not only our individual journeys, but to transform everything and everyone we touch in our family, in our community, and in every corner of Bison Nation all over the world. Since I'm talking about mental health, I would like to take this moment to shout out the HU School of Social Work. Yes, we need you. We need more culturally competent clinicians, therapists. We need you. And at my foundation, we also give out scholarships, so we sending more your way. So let's make over fear. We got that. You understand it? Moving on. And when you can muster faith, when you can marshal it, then you can rise in hope. About 15 years ago, I got a call from Lorraine Mayfield, who was then working as the casting director for The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. To tell you the truth, I wasn't really excited because I was still mourning the death of my father, who passed from liver cancer earlier in the year. I was also regrouping after some deeply painful personal losses and huge business setbacks. Again, read the book. I was also having I had already gone. Another thing I should mention, I was also having an enormously large garage sale that I was very proud of. So they were disrupting my sale on a Saturday. But I had already gone through a general audition for the role of Queen, and I told myself, every black actress in the Northern Hemisphere is vying for this role alongside Brad Pitt and Kate Blanchett. So why is this woman bothering me on my sale Saturday? But we'll never know what's on the other side of the door unless we open it, right? So I decided to pause the garage sale and go meet with Lorraine and David Fincher. I wasn't happy about it. In fact, I mumbled and cursed the whole way driving to David Fincher's office. But I have been too well schooled in auditioning for roles at the Iowa Audrey to not show up or to try to phone it in or to not be prepared. I did my homework. You see, Benjamin Button is set in New Orleans in 1918, so I didn't wear any makeup. I dressed with clothes from the period. I channeled all my training. And when Fincher asked me to run the scene, when my character, Queenie, finally finds the abandoned baby, Benjamin, on the stoop, needless to say, I killed it. Your girl got the job. Yeah. Lorraine told me later that she told David, you can either hire Taraji or you can go through this pile of DVD audition reels. So I got the job, but I'm gonna tell you this, I wasn't prepared for what came next. The budget of Benjamin Button was $167 million. Now, I didn't know how many of those millions that Brad would get or Kate or anybody else, not my business. But I thought, surely this is going to be a big payday for me. I had 14 years in the game, 12 films, including, Baby Boy, Hustle and Flow. You want to know what they offered me? That's about what I took home. They offered me $100,000. That sounds like a lot. I know. I'm going to break it down to you right now. Let me break it down. So my manager thought they finally got it up to 150, right? It was less than 2% of what I found out Brad got paid. I was number 3 on the call sheet, y'all. That's Brad, Kate, me. So we got the money up. Now, I don't want to take Brad's money. He deserves it. He's earned it. He worked to earn that quote. But you see, I had to. Thank you. Let me explain how this works, because sometimes I can hear people go, $100,000, that's a lot of money. Yeah. before Uncle Sam taxed it. I'm gonna break it down to you. So 50% of that goes to Uncle Sam, off the top, off the tizzy. Say goodbye. Then you gotta pay your team 30% of that. So 80% of my money's gone. Do the math. I walked away with about $40,000. They give you a housing, yes, and I had to pocket that money, because you know when you're a single mother, we have any single mothers in the house? Right, you have to get crafty. So instead of using that money to live in a lavish condo, as often we do as artists, we get that money, I chose to stay in the embassy suites, to pocket as much money as I could. With all that, at the end of the day, I told you I saw 30,000. I was angry, I was disgusted, and I was hurt. But instead of stewing in that negative space, instead of becoming cynical, I decided that I would allow hope, not hurt, to shape my work. So I went to work. I used all my energy to build my character, Queenie. She was emotional, she was three-dimensional, emotional, no nonsense. She had a big heart. She loved big even though she was living in the Jim Crow South, barely 50 years after the end of slavery. And in honoring Queenie, I honored all of our ancestors and sheroes who dreamed of a better future for themselves and then led lives of dignity, grace, and determination so fiercely that it made our present possible. Hollywood might not have paid me what my work was worth, but I wasn't going to miss an opportunity to show the world what the countless Queenies had done and what their sacrifices had meant. Portraying Queenie also helped me cope after the loss of my dad. I didn't realize it at the time, but losing my father put me into a deep depression. Showing up every day on set and allowing the spirit to use me, as I like to say, in my craft, helped me to process my grief and allow my heart to heal. Being recognized with my first Oscar nomination was bad either. I wish I could say that you won't have times in your life when people, whether it's in business, in love, or in life in general, that when they try to devalue you or offer you less than what you're worth, as if they're doing you a favor, right? And sometimes, you know what you're gonna have to do? Show them the door. Or whatever you do, step up in hope rather than sinking into cynicism. Other people don't get to determine your worth. Only you can do that. And if you always show up, show out. Give it your all. And the world has to pay attention. The fans will find you. The day after you don't win the Oscar, it's eerily quiet. All the flash phones and the phone calls come to a complete stop. But the next day, you see, I did get a call. I got an industry call. It was from Tyler Perry, offering me the starring role in his film, I Can Do That All By Myself. You see, Queenie was a supporting role, but Tyler saw I was a star. So he gave me that #1 position, and you know what he said? Get your money. So Tyler, a black man in Hollywood, you know his story. He was the first to give me a fair wage to star in his movie. And it's because of him, not an Oscar, that I never had to take another movie project at the rock bottom. So class of 2022, I hope you choose faith over fear. I hope you choose cynicism. Hope over cynicism. Oh, Lord. No. Please, hope over cynicism. And I really hope you choose love over hate. One of the best things about going to an HBCU, and to the real HU in particular, and you know I had to do it. I had to. The real HU, I said it again, is that you are surrounded by people. If you didn't know them, if they weren't your classmates and your friends, you could easily be their fans. There is so much brilliance and talent and passion packed onto this 300 acres. Look, when I was your age, I was is coming up behind fellow Bisons like Wendy Raquel Robinson, Anthony Anderson. I'm so proud of you, brother, Anthony Anderson. Another one who understood the assignment. See, it's never too late to finish what you start. As long as you have breath in your body, you got time. Isaiah Washington, Marlon Wayans, just to name a few. I'm brave. When I saw Paula J. Parker come on the screen and Tales from the Hood, y'all might be too young for that. I thought to myself, you mean you can make some real money doing this? I said, wait a minute, I just passed Paula in the hall on Monday. Now what had only been a dream became very tangible. Seeing Paula doing her thing, succeeding in her art on the big screen, I could forge a place. That meant I could forge a place for myself on this path too. Now, I could have been jealous. I could have thought, I'm Paula, and not me. I had just seen her in the same hallway even Monday. We got the same professors. But instead, I let love and admiration fuel my hope, not hate. See, because what's mine is mine. Can't nobody take what's coming from me. And I don't have no regrets on things that didn't come my way, because guess what? It wasn't mine. I always tell young actors that I mentor, focus on love. See, in our industry, it's so easy to get distracted and to let jealousy make you feel inadequate. You know, that's a vicious cycle that will only pull you down, because that means you're not focused on your lane. You're too busy worried about what somebody else is doing next to you and what they got going on. You need to be focused on your work in your lane. See, don't end up like the cartoon characters who running like this and run into a wall because they're not paying attention to what God has given them. Their mission, their assignment. Find your bigger picture. Bet on yourself. And let your peers' success be your fuel, not your distraction. So, Howard, class of 2022, I said that you are ready. Ready to set what's wrong right. Ready to shine and turn what's dim and tarnish bright. Yeah, I got bars. So now, I want to hear it from you, because I really, truly believe that you're ready. But do you believe it? I don't believe that. I said, do you believe that you're ready? Okay, I believe that. So I'm going to challenge you. And if you accept my challenge, I want you to shout out after each one, I will. Can you do that for me, please? Howard, I love you, Mama. I just want you to make it. So here's your challenges. Howard, I challenge you to know that you are worthy. To know that you belong, as well as you know your own name. Howard, I challenge you to love yourself and never stop, especially when it's hard, especially in your disappointments. Howard, I challenge you to look for the good in yourself, the joy in the world, every day. Howard, I challenge you to look for the good in others, to offer grace to others, because you know they are fighting the battle, just like you. Howard, I challenge you to take care of yourself mentally and emotionally, as well as physically, because you look too good on the outside to not be doing the work on the inside. Thank you. Howard, I challenge you to keep the little child within you alive and thriving, give them room and space to play. I challenge you to listen to that voice within yourself, the one that's separate from Instagram, Twitter, cable news, and the latest gossip and reality TV. The voice that's just yours, The voice that's there in your quiet moments when no one else is around. That's your instinct. That's your discernment. That's your God voice. Train yourself to hear it. Listen to it. Will you do that for me, please? Thank you. And will you speak up for yourself even when your voice tremors? Howard, I challenge you to know that your only competition is the person you were yesterday and the person you want to be tomorrow. A wise man once said, comparison is the thief of joy. Don't do that to yourself. Don't compare yourself to anyone. God broke the mold when he made you. Will you do that for me? Just rely on yourself, believe in yourself. I challenge you to always challenge yourself. Don't get comfortable. or worse, complacent. You can always get better. My son loves Cali Uchis. Did I say that right, babe? Uchis? Uchis. Cali Uchis. I said it wrong. He like, I don't know her. I wrote that in there. Uchis? Uchis. I said it right. Y'all like her? Okay. She said something in a song with SZA. I'm not dead, so I'm not done. Remember, there is always another level, and you can always go higher, Howard. I challenge you to live a life of truth and service, of purpose, so that when it's your turn to stand here on this stage, when it's your turn at the mic, you can do more than say how you've been blessed, but you can be a blessing. Howard, I challenge you to do what ancestor Toni Morrison taught us. Remember that your real job is that if you are free, you need to free somebody else. Howard, I challenge you to honor all of the people, the countless people who worked and fought and sacrificed to help you get free, who worked to make this world a better place so you could sit here today. As a society, we're not where we need to be, but we are not where we were. And so we keep climbing Jacob's ladder because every round goes higher and higher. Howard, listen to me. The doors of the world are open to you. You've already been baptized. Your degree is your passport. The doors to the world are open. I want you to walk on up, step on through, and with grace and strength, go become who you are destined to be. Thank you. God bless you. And I love you, Howard. I can't wait to see you out there. Thank you.
The Howard University Choir will perform an arrangement by Eric O'Poole. Don't you let nobody turn you around. Melissa Constantine will serve as the soprano soloist.